nice buck slide into this native grass over here, so I give it a few grunts and snort wheeze, see if I can pull him over here. The buck that I wanted to shoot went up the ridge, but what are you gonna do? It's a fantastic morning. Oh my gosh. On his feet, looking for does, daytime hours. That's what November 1st is all about. I seen 2 shooter bucks, the rest were small. I just heard some grunting behind me here. The wind's out of the southwest. I'm gonna hit these rattle antlers again a little bit.
First hunt, first morning on November 1st, had a super nice 135-inch, 140-inch buck come right below the tree. Great footage of him, came right in. Man, I tell you what, if he had 15, 20 more inches, that would have been my second buck of the year, and I would have called it a year for sure, because he was just he was a nice 3.5-year-old deer, but he just didn't have the mass and the size I was looking for. So I ended up letting that deer go, but man, it was a dandy. No big bucks showed up that evening, but man, oh man, I tell you what, if I wanted to shoot doe, I had point blank shots at least 4 or 5 different doe. Great hunt. You know, you can't judge every hunt based on whether you see a big buck or not. It was a beautiful evening, a little windy, but I'll tell you what, the cool part about this new set that I hung is the deer were right there within bow range during daytime hours, and that's important. It's only gonna be a matter of time that the big bucks are gonna come through that spot because they know the does are frequently traveling through there. November 2nd, morning hunt, just didn't choose the right stand. I thought it'd be a fantastic morning. It just turned out that it wasn't. You know, I only saw about 1 deer that morning. It was really slow. Now, I gotta tell you, November 2nd in the evening was fantastic. Snuck into one of my spots where I got planted 2 brassica fields, and I'm hunting right in the middle of these 2 brassica fields, and it was great. You know, I also had some buck forage oats planted in there, and I'll tell you what, it was a magnet. I bet you I had over 20, 25 deer come filtering through that field that evening. I had a nice buck come right below the stand. It would have been a chip shot, but he just, again, wasn't the size of the buck I was looking for. November 3rd morning, another great encounter. You know what, I heard a bunch of movement in the beans, looked over my left shoulder, and here comes a doe with the absolute biggest 6-point buck I think I've ever seen in my life. This buck comes in, you know, couldn't be more than 10 or 15 yards away. It would have been a fantastic video, it would have been a great shot, but again, he just wasn't the caliber of buck that I was looking for. So again, it was a super nice deer, but it's still early. I still got 2 weeks left of primetime hunting here. And then of course I can go lean on all my food plots that I put all my efforts into December and January. So I just decided that, you know what, this wasn't the buck for me, and I let him pass. But November 3rd evening hunt, it was it, do or die. It was my last day being able to hunt. I have to get back home to the family. It was a great hunt. You know what, unfortunately, this particular trip didn't pan out to have me shoot the buck I was looking for, but you know what? All kinds of deer on their feet that evening. Got a nice buck. Saw at least 5 different bucks that night. So they're, you know what, guys? They're on their feet. They're starting to move around. We're getting ready to move into some better moon periods here starting next week. Game is on. I mean, now is the time to be in the stand, and persistence pays. Stay out there. believe in the sets that you hung, be as scent free as possible, and I'll tell you what, good things are gonna happen.